No.
It's the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. And the Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems. And they can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Got the hitman Blaine Bishop. Got Buck Rising.
No, Buck is not here.
Buck's
he is not here. Our superstar is not here. He decided not to show up, and he's going to affect our performance today. I can't believe it. Yeah, our Derrick Henry, Buck Rising.
He's wearing his capri pants today, too.
He didn't have his A game, and he is not on time. I just cannot believe it. Unbelievable.
He said that this Titans team may not show up. Why should I?
Yeah. I could imagine that he would say something like that.
Well, I need some volume up in the headphones here.
He had so much traffic coming from West Nashville. Yeah, where you come?
Literally Germantown. I live in Germantown.
You can walk here.
Yeah, he probably could have.
I probably could have walked and made it faster.
Could have rode his cats.
Good morning, boys. Yeah,
morning.
like a Santa Claus sleigh type deal.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
You got enough cats to do that.
Oh, right.
So today,
another day.
Yeah, today's another day. It's a beautiful day. After a week of pretty crappy weather, it's a beautiful
lovely.
day today.
Yeah. CJ demanded it.
Yeah, the perfect day for the first ever 1,000-yard game by an NFL receiver with Xavier Restrepo. Is that right?
Oh,
That's
yes.
how the fans act. That's how the fans act.
This is guaranteed. That's what we should do. Guaranteed that Susie gets one catch. I don't care how far it is, 2 yards, 5 yards.
It could be a wide receiver screen, negative 5 yards.
They are going to give him a standing ovation.
I
just want him to give him a bow. They acknowledge them.
Thank you, good people, for carrying my water for 16 weeks.
Gotta give him a bow.
I joke. I joke. But
No,
I will say this.
today.
I will say this.
exciting, man,
I
for
put in
him.
a bet for an anytime touchdown for Xavier Restrepo today. Why not? Why not? He gets down in the red zone that he may do something, and let's just throw $10 and win $200. Why
Okay.
not?
Go ahead.
I don't know about that one.
I'm
I don't
happy
know.
for
You
you.
know Cam Ward's going to be looking for him. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
How much offense is he actually going to play?
Like 10 snaps.
I don't know.
So he's just
going
gonna
to
go
be
out
on
of his-
special teams?
Huh?
Is he going to be on special teams?
Well, they've been working on special teams with him.
Blaine, there's no way in hell they're calling him up and he's not playing majority special teams.
Well, the way our receivers are dropping like flies, I
Oh, sure, yeah.
He may get some reps. You just don't know, and then his quarterback from college is going to be looking for him. Absolutely.
Well, I will say this. According to his own personal Twitch stream.
Oh, good.
But his Twitch stream said that he's going to be he was going to light practice up because they're using him all over the formation. They're using him inside, outside, getting him involved.
Practice up.
Practice, light practice up. like he did not do in the offseason. But, to his point, your all's point, I guess, is that how many snaps will he play? I'd say 10, but do you think they're going to play him more than James Prochet on offense? That's the question.
I don't know the answer definitively to that,
right.
but I would be surprised by that.
If you're really trying to win, Prochet, question. No question.
Yeah.
Now, if you're really
James Prochet's been in the league since, 2020?
Yeah, so if it gets out of hand, then that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
You're trying to, evaluate some young players. So.
Yeah, at that point, it very well may. They're 13.5-point underdogs at home?
12.5. It went down. Went down
Xavier
overnight.
Restrepo called up.
It went down overnight. Him and Khalil Mullins called off of IR. That's changed the whole game.
Okay. So, yeah, assuming they're down by 2 scores, it's possible that that guys like Xavier Restrepo and, they're running out of players that they haven't seen yet because injuries and trades and all these other things, so it's not like there's that many players that haven't got opportunities there. But, yeah, to Blaine's point, it's entirely possible. If there is score separation, he may start to see his role on offense increase.
Well, we assume that DK is healthy enough to return to punts and kickoffs, and maybe they don't use him that way and they use James Prochet that way because they don't want him to take unnecessary hits. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing to watch, right? If Chimere DK is on special teams and he does take a big hit with that chest contusion, if he doesn't go back in, you may see more Xavier Restrepo.
Returning punts?
No. On offense.
Okay.
Xavier Restrepo's not going to return punts or anything. No, I would be very, very surprised because then they'll go to James Prochet, then Mason Kinsey, I would assume in that
I
order.
would assume Chestnut is ahead of him, too, on that.
Oh, yeah. So I wouldn't say that he's going to be on punt return duty. He may be on punt coverage, punt block duty. I don't know where they fit him on special teams.
Yeah, that's still going to be a tough call. I saw, in some of the videos that he's working on punching out the ball, so I'm assuming that means he's playing on something, tackling, whether that's kickoff or punt. But he didn't show a lot of that in training camp. That's why he hasn't been dressing for all the guys and ladies who are listening, is because he has to contribute on special teams, and it's really, he doesn't fit any position. He's a skilled guy that has to be out wide to cover kicks, and he's just kind of not fast enough to do that on a regular basis. Well, we shall see. Not to say he can't go down there and make tackles, but we haven't seen him do that. Even in college, I think it was maybe a handful of times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what actually happens with this team today. I know it's likely to be a blowout, but there's a lot of opportunity to show growth and improvement for the young players, because this is a really good, sound football team. And when you're going up against one of the more sound, efficient football teams in the NFL, that's an opportunity for your younger players to not only gain experience, but to kind of show where they're at now 11 weeks into the season.
Yeah. I thought, against the Texans defense, Cam Ward handled the circumstances best as possible. I know he had another fumble. It was that was the first sack of the game that he took, if I'm not mistaken, that strip sack.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Late in the game, which, he was doing well to get the ball out, which has been a struggle for him so far this year.
Fastest time to throws of the whole year.
For him. Now, 2.6 on average is still not, it's not where you would ideally like it to be in a situation like that. What's average in the NFL right now? 2.5?
About 2.56, so it's not too far off.
Not too far off. So, to his credit, he at least saw what was going to be necessary to keep that pass rush off of him, and he didn't completely keep it off him. He still got drilled, for example, on that 38-yard completion to Chigakonkwo, but he hung in the pocket. He delivered a nice ball. He got that one out pretty quickly, given how fast the rush got to him. And he was up against penalties from his offensive line, in particular J.C. Latham. I'm curious to see how he responds today after he had 4 individual penalties against him, 1 holding, 3 false starts. That's unacceptable for the way that it cost them opportunities to try and potentially beat the Texans last week. Seattle's a good defense.
When did it cost them? What drive? Because he actually was correct in his post-game assessment. They got a field goal off his first 2 penalties.
Don't make me mad.
Well, I mean, that's true, though.
Don't piss me off.
I mean, you're being emotional, not logical.
No, JC actually did say that.
Yeah, no, I know.
And he was right.
Oh, he knew. I was like, oh.
I mean, the first 2
they
penalties.
They had to overcome his penalties.
Okay. They did.
But I would like for them to not have to overcome the 7th overall.
I would agree
pick.
with that, too. But you guys are blowing it up like it was some big hindrance when it really wasn't.
Brother.
But it happened, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They were coming, so it wasn't like it affected.
And guess what? You know what it showed is that the Tennessee Titans are this new Tennessee Titans currently, at least on Sunday, was able to overcome penalties when they have never had.
Which is very rare about this.
No, it's fine.
But this idea that it was like some big listen.
No,
you should not have.
He should not have 4 individual penalties at home in front of
when's the last time he did that?
4? I don't think he's done that all year.
Yeah. He's never done that. So it's an outlier. And then you can blame. I think that there is a partial blame of cadence, taking the clock down to 1
on
almost
one
on
instance.
every play. Almost every play.
Cam said it was on 1 instance that he could recall.
I mean, that's all good on Cam and stuff, but I mean, we also can watch it.
If this is the hill that you want to die on, brother.
Well, we can also watch it and decide for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched the game, and it wasn't on just one play. I mean, you could tell that they took the clock down to 1 second almost on every play. He changed the length of his cadence. I heard Ramon talk about it as well. Mm-hmm. And they did a bunch of hard counts throughout the whole thing, unnecessary hard counts in my mind that never worked to get the defense off sides. J.C. Latham needs to keep his powder dry, but there was a lot of other circumstances than just J.C. Latham bad.
Oh, yeah,
everybody else
Boyd Cushenberry
good.
was also bad in that game. I'm not. No, the criticism of JC is not that it was his sole fault that they had the struggles that they had, but that was a particularly egregious situation. I thought that Lloyd Cushenberry played one of his worst games in a Titans uniform.
And he was a false starter too. He didn't.
He had one as well.
Couple pressures.
I believe, according to Pro Football Focus, and again, that's not the end-all be-all, but that's one of the resources that we have to evaluate. I believe they had him with 4 or 5 individual pressures given up in that game. So offensive line play, I would like to see better continuity from all 5 of those guys. Now that they've been back in the lineup for a reasonable amount of time, you would expect them to be a more fluid unit. And then, listen, I know people were critical of the defense because they couldn't cover Nico Collins in that final spot, but the defense played their ass off that entire game, and the offense's inability to score just makes you hyper-scrutinize everything else when it's so hard for them to get a touchdown. And when they finally got the touchdown, it was too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this team, both on offense and defense and oftentimes special teams, dating back for the last, including this season, the last 4 seasons, has struggled to – one unit feels like it's always going to let down the other 2 units. and this time, yes, offense didn't score points as the number 1 defense against a team that doesn't score points. But when they did score a point, defense lets you down. And there's been plenty of times where they've missed a field goal that can win a game that lets you down. There's been plenty of times where the defense makes all these crazy stops and the offense can't score points, and that lets you down. It's just this team struggles because, for whatever reason, over the last 4 seasons, to play true complementary football. And you need that with this kind of schedule that they have played, with the teams that they have played, especially the team today that is efficient on offense, efficient on defense, efficient on special teams. You have to play complementary football, but I don't know that we can fully expect this team to ever play complementary football this entire season just because they don't have the talent. They don't have the horses.
Yeah, well, let's start with the talent, the horses, as you just talked about, but also just experience. At some point they will get over a hurdle, but it probably won't be this year until they get the talent, because they just need more, especially on offense now with all the injuries at the receiver spot, and then young youthful players. And let's not forget, Cam Ward is a first-year player. He's still going through his lumps. And you talk about, his getting rid of the ball. I thought it was well schemed by the offensive coordinator of designing those plays where he would get rid of the ball, and the plays were designed that way, and he was almost forced to do that. And then when he didn't, sometimes it was a negative on him, to be honest. I'm not going to say throughout. Obviously, he had some good plays, but so I think that number is skewed a little bit, especially there at the end where he's doing the dink and dunk to the running back, to move the chains, to keep the drive alive, basically like a 2-minute. So I think he played better, but it's something that he has to be willing to relent to, that, hey, it's okay to take a profit here, over here with a flare route, a dump down, a short out, and then take your shots when they give you the opportunity, when it's man-to-man, and then strike and hit. He did not strike and hit on some of those outside fade routes that are, drop it in the bucket throws. Those are supposed to be layups for quarterbacks in the National Football, starters in the league. Davis Mills did. He dropped him in the bucket. Now, we can go back and watch the Buffalo game. He missed some throws right at the beginning of the game that, that was bad. You're like, dang, man, he got to make that out right there. That guy scores. So, to me, that's where they are not as precise and exact where they need to be as, NFL starters in this league. And that's not to say they can't get there. Cam Ward's still growing. But those little minute things makes a difference. Or on defense, having contained, or making a third down play on the 3rd and 16 when you need a play. You knew, when you playing games like, you knew they were going to Nico. It's almost impossible. I would have said, scrap cover 2, I'm doubling this guy. I'm
going to put 3 guys over there.
I'm going to get him because I know they're going to throw it, especially if he looked immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. I'm safety. I'm running. You just got to have that kind of feel engaged and get a big extra half step. So those are the things, comes with experience and just having better players.
That's right. All right, coming up next, we'll talk more about the Seattle Seahawks defense. We'll also talk more about how this is an opportunity for Cam Ward to show progress. All right. This has been the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com right here on 104.5 The Zone.
You did it!
All right, it's the Lee Company countdown to kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. And today's broadcast is brought to you in part by SA Recycling. SA Recycling reminds you to be a good fan this game day and look for recycle bins in and around Nissan Stadium. Got Blaine Bishop with me. I'm Zach Lyons. And, of course, we got Buck Rising as well.
Our superstar.
Ridley to IR. No Xavier Woods. No Alec Manor. And no Kendall Brooks. They called off Khalil Mullins from IR. He will practice. They opened up his 21-day practice window last week, but activated him today, so he's on the active roster. And they're calling up Xavier Restrepo from practice squad. I mean, again, I don't expect much from Khalil Mullins and Xavier Restrepo, but I do wonder, will there be some packages you guys think for at least Khalil Mullins? Maybe if they were lucky enough to get into the red zone or goal to go against the Seattle Seahawks defense, because I would think that maybe, just maybe, short yardage situations and such, maybe we see some Khalil Mullins.
I would like to see some, especially in those short yardage situations. He's a different kind of back than the other two, so situationally, we'll see. And now, could that do or force Mike McCoy to do the unthinkable and go for it on a 4th and short situation? Perhaps not. But there are some things there that you'd like to learn more about, guys that you have on the roster. Because, I mean, Tony Pollard has been nothing but a good soldier. So I don't think that, though, that should make him immune from criticism. I don't think Pollard has been terribly effective. I don't think the offensive line in front of him has helped him too much either, but Tony has been pretty inefficient as far as what their run game has been. And Tajay Spears, Blaine, you've talked about this before. He's not somebody who, at least the coaching staff seems like they're going to give him the bulk of those carries, nor should they, just because he's different than Tony Pollard. Yeah. Pollard is he is a more proven commodity, and he's found ways to have success previously in his career. This just isn't one of those years for him. So anything by committee at this point, I think, is a better option than what they're doing. They're the least efficient rushing attack in football.
Yeah, the question was about, the young, Mullins. I'd love to see him not necessarily packages, because, I don't like putting players in buckets where that's what they are.
Okay. Sure.
I like to say put him in the rotation and put him ahead of Chestnut so you get to see him a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see if he has something to him that you start saying, okay, I think he may have some, because I remember now he hadn't played pretty much all year. So I don't know how much they may ease him to on offense, but definitely special teams.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely expect him on some special teams.
I'd like to see him. Remember, this is a guy I'm recalling now that was a linebacker initially at Michigan that moved to running back. So the guy has some skill to him, and I'd love to see him out there. He could bring it, a different style with Pollard. Being that he needs some creases and they're not giving him creases, well, Mullins would be like, I make a crease. Like, he's that kind of runner. Very powerful. So I definitely like to see him. I think Pollard, being a former running back, there are no holes. So you can't say, Pollard, you can't say, oh, he's going down, he's losing a step. It's really hard to say because there is nothing. Every time I see him and want to kind of think that, he'll show me something. I go, well, dang, if he had any form of a hole, he could do some things.
Yeah, I'll go back to the Chargers game, right? I mean, we saw the Chargers game. They were pulling off outside of those stupid Wildcat plays, 7.6 yards per carry in the first half, and then 4.4 yards per carry in the second half. So they were getting open, and I remember Tony Pollard ripping off some runs. Tajay Spears was ripping off some runs, and they were going like 9, 10 yards. But last week you saw Texas defense, and I would imagine we'd almost see the same thing today that said, Cam Ward, you have to beat us. You Tennessee Titans, you're going to have to beat us through the air. Nah. And I just don't think that – I think that's how teams are game planning for this specific Tennessee Titans team, because you can stop this run game a little bit easier than you could have with Derrick Henry back there, with Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones.
Even last year, last year, they had at least, I think Pollard made, what did he average, 80 yards or so a game?
They were way more balanced as an offense last season. It's been one of the more disappointing things because that's what you would like to see them have to support the rookie quarterback.
If they had that, they'd have a shot in every game. So that the running game, probably if you're asking what's the most disappointing thing about this team is that they don't have any form of a running game.
Yeah.
That is a little shocking, especially, since they were supposed to have the best offensive line coach in the world.
And then
it didn't really work here, did it?
It did not work here. Of course, it wasn't working in Cleveland before he left Cleveland. I don't think there was any love loss and outrage.
And that's
really.
not all on him. Now you got the players.
But still same thing as the same issues you saw towards the end of his tenure in Cleveland were still the same issues you saw here. I do think that this run game can be efficient early, but then
in this
once
game?
Maybe not this game, but just in general.
Oh.
But once the game gets out of hand, they don't ever go back to the well because they don't have an identity, and that was one of the things that was this weekend. I know you have the identity of losers, but we go back to
losing. That sounds a little more gentle than they're
sorry.
Losers.
But I go back to what Mike McCoy said their mentality was, which was a whole bunch of nothing. And then the same day, Cam Ward is asked the question about, and he says physicality, which is okay. That's fine, but why couldn't the head coach even answer that in general coach speak? I mean, they struggle with this identity, and I think that is the big issue with this entire team is that they have nothing to fall back on when times are hard because they don't know what they truly are. They want to be a 11 personnel spread them out passing team, but they don't really, again, I'll go back to the horses, they don't have the horses to run that.
Yeah.
Blaine, you talked about this, I want to say during preseason or something like that, kind of like what you would like to see at some point in time, and just like the commitment to running the football, where they would get away from it at times and pass to set up the run as opposed to running to set up the pass. And there's no end-all be-all one way or the other, but I feel like they abandon it so quickly at this point under this current coaching staff and, going back to Brian Callahan's tenure here, obviously. Score separation is a thing, and if you're trying to find ways to stay competitive in the games, obviously they have struggled, except for the last two. They have covered the last 2 weeks, to their credit. I know that the bar is low, but they are at least playing one-score games now as opposed to getting their doors kicked in by double digits with frequency. So J.C. Latham, one of the things that we talked to him about this week in the locker room was, why are you guys giving up so quickly on the run? And he said, a lot of times we get down by 2 scores and we're dropping back more than we would like to otherwise. Obviously, as an offensive line unit, we want to be able to run the football, but we're just trying to keep pace as best we can. That's the most efficient way to do it, even if they are not super efficient at it. So I get the explanation. I still think even if this team is down by 2 scores, I'd like to see them find ways to run the football. But to your point, they don't accomplish much by running the football, so maybe it's just a waving of the white flag.
I think so, because sometimes you're getting down by 2 scores, and it could still be, in the first half. And to me, you don't abandon ship just because things aren't working, maybe because of all kind of different reasons. And to me, you got to just kind of hold on, and maybe they just feel like they're just going to fall so far behind that they can't score, and let's throw the ball and see what Cam can do. Maybe that is the philosophy, and just not telling us as, in the media that, hey, we just want to see what Cam's got going on. Once we get behind, we know we can't run the football. We're not going to win the games, or we're just going to throw it and see what we can find out about him personally.
Yeah, because, to your point, they abandoned the run fairly early into the second half when games have generally been still tied. And they have the reason I think that the run game needs to be leaned on a little bit more is not just for the sake of, having a balanced attack, but it's also getting your offensive line in a rhythm. You talk to any offensive lineman across the NFL, anybody that observes the NFL, they say you got to establish your run game because that gets the offensive lineman feeling good, gets some reps underneath them, gets the tackle, not tackle, but gets their hands on the guys and gets dirty and brings it into the muck and the mire and gets them into a rhythm. And the earlier you can start doing that, the better your pass protection will end up being, regardless of if your run game is efficient or not, regardless of if you're ripping off 5-yard runs, 9-yard runs, or just 2- and 3-yard runs, you're still getting the offensive line into a rhythm. And I feel like coming out of the half, it just feels like they're just like, 3 points is too much for us to overcome to lean into the run game, when really they should be leaning into the run game even more to try to not only just give themselves in a rhythm, but to extend drives, help your defense out. If your defense is playing that well, keep them off the field for as much as possible and chew up some clock to give yourself some more opportunities and them some rest.
Yeah, and that's where I disagree with the philosophy of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
I really do. And all I can think of is that they're just trying to evaluate Cam and the receivers. Hopefully what has happened now with the receiver injuries is that they now use the two tight end set a lot more, and it becomes more effective. And they run their passing game through the two tight end sets. I don't know if that will happen, but all you have to do is just look across the window and just look at the Seahawks. They get behind in games, they'll still run the football and still throw and try to be balanced, but the run game is what makes things go, regardless if they're getting yards or not, as long as it's not negative yards. I just like to see them run a different style offense. I don't think we're going to ever see that this season at all. I think it's all about they want to throw the football around the yard to some unproven players and just see what they can, turn into, or what they have to do to go into next year's draft and free agency to see what they're capable of. I have no idea, but you're not going to win games throwing the ball in the National Football League every play unless you got some veteran team with a, big-time quarterback. So I just don't see it.
God, I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this just, I don't want to put a damper on everything.
No, it's just.
But, this team is kind of what it is, right? We know at this point in the year, we know that they're going to go out into 11 personnel, which I don't have big beef with, that they're always in 11 personnel. My issue is that they're always in shotgun.
Yeah.
And when you're in shotgun, you are not really, when you use play action, while there's not a huge difference in the stats, like efficiency stats and all that stuff, but your defense is held on a little bit longer, the opponents, if you do play action under center.
Under center, yep.
And because your back's to them, they have to take longer to guess. When your running back's right next to you, well, they're going to be able to pick up whether or not fairly quickly whether the running back's getting the ball or not. So my issue isn't really 11 personnel. It's more that not only are they always in 11 personnel, they're always in shotgun from 11 personnel.
I guess it's just such a heavy percentage relative to anything else. And the thing, and I don't know how much better Chigakonkwo or Gunnar Helm, the two tight ends, would be with expanded opportunities there. But I just, if a day like today where they have literally no receivers left at this point in time, and the savior of all things Titans football, Xavier Restrepo, is the best option that you got, why the hell wouldn't you just try more with the two tight end sets? I'm not saying that they're going to be more efficient running the football. I don't know that it's going to affect their passing game the way that it does for a lot of teams like Seattle. The Colts are really good at a two tight end sets, and we understand that those teams are more talented at this point in time. But just to have such a heavily skewed percentage of one thing, to me, that telegraphs too much.
Well, they become basic and bland. Josh Norris of Underdog Sports was talking about Cam Ward doing stats versus film, and that was one of his big beefs, is that this offense is so one-dimensional, but it's one-dimensional not in the run game. Like, that's typically how you see one-dimensional teams, is that they can only run the ball. But it's so one-dimensional in that they number one in 11 personnel. I believe they're pretty high to number one in shotgun usage. Not only that, they don't use any motion. They're use the least amount of motion used on pre-snap in the league, and that helps your quarterback. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I cannot believe that they have invested money in an analytics department that A, is not taken seriously by the coaching staff, or B, can't even communicate this stuff. Like, to me, you should be spamming motion. There's nothing wrong with just spamming motion every play.
Well, tell all the fans why motion helps the offense.
Well, it helps the young quarterback, because typically they do a lot of motion in the college ranks, but that helps you identify your different coverages.
Yes.
Now, that does not really dictate that that's what your coverage is going to stick at.
Right.
Because the Seattle Seahawks right now have the fourth highest change in pre-snap to post-snap defensive coverage in the NFL. They changed their pre-snap to post-snap looks 40.3% of the time. Yeah. So, but it still helps you identify the types of coverage.
Yes,
it can help you identify man, zone, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't understand why this team refuses to use it.
Well,
It just
they're
makes
playing
no sense.
checkers and everybody else is playing chess, man. And that's that you need help identifying, especially with a first-year quarterback.
Right.
Even if they disguise it and still trick you, at least most plays you have an understanding of what they're going to do. And guess what? Then you do throw the ball quick because you know where to go with the ball.
Right.
I mean, like, this is like 101 NFL stuff, man. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, checkers might be a little too high level.
Yeah,
I feel like they're out there playing Connect 4 at this point in time.
Man, what are we doing here, man?
Nonsense.
I mean, it just sometimes keep it simple, stupid can help a team so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they do keep it simple, but they don't really do the simple stuff that you need to use. Like, the simple stuff is motion. Pre-snap motion is pretty easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult. Are you saying that you don't have a lot of plays with pre-snap motion? If you don't, that's a huge issue. And especially coming out of the bye week, which I do think that they came out of the bye week with a better game plan than we have seen before.
Yeah.
But still not enough motion.
To Blaine's point, I like some of the stuff they did last week. Like, I really thought, whether or not the plays were executed or not, you could see conceptually that there were opportunities to be had, and you can go back and say, well, was it, is it good if they don't execute? I mean, yeah, that's the cop-out answer, right? But like, the opportunities are there, so it's not a complete wash. And God knows I'm not going to sit up here for an hour and a half longer that we have of this pregame and defend the Titans coaching staff on anything.
Yeah.
Okay, like this has been as bad a performance from a coaching staff beyond just a roster that is talent deficient that you could possibly have. But I am as confused as the two of you, where their whole thing was supposed to be work smarter, not harder under this administration. And my God, do they make everything look so painfully hard.
And it's not that, to me, it's not like using motion means that you have to have skillful, talented players, right? It's not like you have to have Justin Jefferson to be able to run motion. It's not like you have to have Joe Burrow to be able to run motion. You don't have to have Trent Williams to run motion, like some of the best players at those positions. You just have to do it. It's as simple as that, right? Like, I mean, that's the crazy part to me, and the frustrating part for me is that all you have to do is do it. You surely, someone on this staff, I would assume at the very least, Nick Holtz and Bo Hardigree, could add to take their plays they already have and add motion.
But that's not their system.
No.
I mean, I guess not. But I mean, I know that Bo did it over. But is that because he was running the Josh McDaniels system? Over in Vegas, he had one of the highest pre-snap motion rates.
He's working for somebody. Bo Hardigree is in. Yeah, and listen, I'm not mad at Bo about it. But if I'm Bo, I'm in self-preservation mode.
Yeah,
I'm doing what I'm told, and I'm looking forward to my next job, whomever that is going to be with.
They're probably all
maybe that's why they're not doing motion, because they're all trying to get their next jobs.
I don't know, but wouldn't you also, to be honest,
sim to end?
Yeah. But also, like, wouldn't you want to put out better tape than what you have even if you're a coach? We talk about players putting better tape and not giving up on teams because what you put on tape is what you are. I mean, this coaching staff, what you put on tape is what you are. And right now, I mean,
they're going to say it's the players. It's the players.
I mean, I guess, but I would hire every defensive staff member if I was another team, because I think the defensive coaching staff has done such a much better job with crappier pieces than the offense.
Oh, no, I 100% agree with that.
No,
and that, Blaine, I'm so glad that you brought that up, the blaming of the players. Mm-hmm. Because, listen, we all understand the state of the Tennessee Titans roster these last few years. We understand how it got there. Nobody needs to relitigate that. It is not in a good place. But I am so sick of the front office and the coaching staff. Now, the coaching staff is not publicly blaming players or anything like that. No. But I am tired of the excuse. You are professional. You are at the highest level of your profession. You have to find ways to win with less than you are going to have on any given perfect circumstance. Kyle Shanahan should be the leader for Coach of the Year this year. They are 7-4, and they're out there with one of the most efficient offenses in football, with you, me, and Blaine playing wide receiver for them at this point in time. Don't tell me that you don't have enough to get it done. Figure it out. That's your job. That's not all on the players, even if the players are less. I would be sick of that if I was a Titans player.
Well, I got to meet the Milrose yesterday, and there he is over there, and I wonder if we probably will see him today. You You think we will? What's the odds there? You being a big Bama fan,
well,
Zach.
I mean, I just want to say that if this would be a good game to probably see some more Jalen Milroe, because I would think that the Seattle Seahawks get up pretty easily.
Yeah.
So they may start putting in. We may see a Jalen Milroe to Jake Bobo touchdown.
The backup is Locke right now.
Yeah, Locke. They may have a play, where he comes in and runs or something.
Listen, as much as we can talk about how great the defense has been over the last few weeks with less pieces, they still allow explosive runs. So if I'm the Seattle Seahawks and Clint Kubiak, I'm putting in Jalen Milroe.
That might be a play
I'm
within
putting
the game.
Some Jalen Milroe designed runs and all that kind of stuff. All right, coming up next, we'll continue our talk. We'll talk about the conservatism of this Mike McCoy team and why it's just so sad and ridiculous that an interim head coach cannot be aggressive at all. This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Good day. Good day.
It's the Lee Company countdown to kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company, tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical problems. And they can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Now, listen, we're outside. Was this Gate 3?
Yeah,
Is this Gate 3?
The 12th man has showed up.
I mean, tons of Seahawks fans.
A lot of Seattle.
Man, this is like, they're in the Bahamas or something right now.
Yeah, we got shorts out here. This is the first sun. This is the only chance of sun they'll see for like a
look at that. They're doing their
year.
own chant at our stadium,
Yeah.
man. This is so embarrassing.
I love the throwback
so
jerseys, though.
embarrassing,
I think
That
Seattle has
Brian
one of the
Bosworth
cleanest,
right there.
Listen.
Ooh, that was back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Oh, but Blaine, Goodell was in town talking
love
about
it.
the shiny new stadium, how exciting it's going to be for fans and how much it means to the city. No, it means something for everybody else who wants to come to town to watch their team.
They wanted something positive
whip
to
up on
talk
this
about
team.
now.
Well, let me
Yeah,
say this.
okay, tough.
Let me say this. My biggest beef with that is that, man, the acoustics were terrible
Oh,
in
my
there.
God.
And you couldn't hear anything. Nobody could hear and understand anything. It was terrible.
It's fine. I don't want to hear any of that crap anyway.
Yeah.
Win a football game.
All right, so we're outside of Gate 3. So over at a table on Gate 3, there are some QR codes where you can win tickets to go see Bring Me the Horizon, Preds versus Flames on December 2nd, the Foo Fighters with Queens of the Stone Age, Titans versus Jaguars, and Titans versus Chiefs. Right there over there. All you got to do is scan the QR code to enter.
Well, only 4 people, only 4 Titans fans are standing out here. The rest of them are.
Well, maybe there's some Seattle transplants.
And the ones that are wearing the jerseys of players that don't play here anymore.
The Titans should wear these black jerseys is what the Titans fans
Well,
got
like they're
right
going
now.
to a funeral?
Oh,
We
man.
saw an
Yeah.
Xavier Restrepo jersey. I just want to say that. There was
man.
an Xavier
Hey.
Restrepo jersey out here.
I am so
right, it's
confused by
tough,
that,
man.
but you know what? More power to him. I hope he has a great day today.
Hey, listen, I'm rooting for it because everybody's like, well, you'll have to eat crow. I don't have to eat crow. I'm rooting for Xavier Restrepo. All I've
absolutely.
been saying is that everybody that's been clamoring for him, there's a reason why he hasn't been called up.
Yeah.
That's all we've ever said.
I mean, but
Besides
you know,
poking fun
hey, you
at
got
the
to cheer
fans.
for a guy like that.
Yeah,
That's why I
got
said
to.
he's going to get a standing ovation. Watch the crowd roar. If he gets in the game and gets a catch, I don't care if it's for 2 yards. He will get a standing. It's going to draw.
Blaine, they might get drowned out. I don't know.
I want it may be booze. He may get booze.
By the 12th man in our stadium.
I mean,
Should we encourage the 12th man to cheer for Xavier Restrepo just to,
They may take offense to it and just get up and start booing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, listen, I put down a bet for anytime touchdown Xavier Restrepo. I think
Anytime
you just got to do it.
touchdown.
Yeah.
I would just like to talk about anything else in the world.
Well, let's talk about the conservatism of this coaching staff.
Good. Yes.
I mean,
Well, let's talk about what in all worlds, what shot do they have and what should their game plan be to win this game?
Yeah.
Now, when we think it's minute, but if it does go their way, how could they win this game?
Well, I mean, Sam Darnold is coming off a game where he just threw 4 interceptions.
So we
I'm
got
not
to see how he
saying
responds.
That you are going to be in a situation where to turn him over 4 times. But to Denard Wilson's credit, they've been able to generate a rush. They've been able to
Yes,
find
they have.
ways. He was far more aggressive as far as his blitzing last week than he has been. I think in ways that the offensive coaching staff is not willing to kind of cut it loose because they're 1-9 now. What's the point of trying to white knuckle your way through these results and play so conservatively on 4th and short, which is a lot of the criticism? I think Denard Wilson is just like, all right, boys, let
What
your
do we
hair
have to
down.
lose?
Go get him. You know what I'm saying?
I like the philosophy.
So
I'm
if you can
stunned.
put Sam Darnold in a blender today and try and make him stub his toe a couple of times, yeah, you give yourself an opportunity to at least play in a 1-score game. And in the NFL, I understand that the Titans are not, they're playing. It feels like they're playing in a different league on a weekly basis.
Well, we know that means it's going to be a big risk for the leading receiver, I think, in the NFL. JSN.
He's
now,
the
if you
truth.
blitz
That dude is a stud.
I don't know who we have going to
Oh
guard
my
him.
God.
Like,
Oh no, nobody.
You have to do
He's gonna
two
get his.
people. You
do you
have
know
to
he's
bracket
on
coverage.
pace to almost get 2,000 yards
He's
this
a monster.
season?
Yeah. If
1,950.
Well, he will be on pace after today's game.
Oh, my.
if Jonathan Taylor didn't exist, he would be the offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind.
I think there's still a
Wow.
chance that he could be in the running towards the end and maybe even make a push if he gets to 2,000 yards. Today's game could be crazy, but the only way to stop him is that you're going to have to bracket coverage over to him. And I still don't know with the players that they have
If that's
if
gonna be
that's
good
enough. But that's
I
what
don't
you
know.
got to do. You have to do
well,
that.
As a coordinator, all you can do is, hey, say I did all I can. I mean, the players got to go execute.
Right. I mean, that's the best thing you can do for this
That is
team.
the worst feeling, by the way, being a defensive back. And guess what? I was one of those guys that was doubling, and he still caught the ball. I was like, oh, man, we can't even stop this guy.
Look, I will say this. The
So
Seahawks have been in 3rd and long 57 times this year. And they've only converted 7 of those 57. That's 12.3% on 3rd and long this season. That's the league worst. That's even worse than the Tennessee Titans. And because the league average is 25.1% on 3rd and long. But the Seahawks are 12.3. So if Big Jeff, Tavondre Sweat, listen, this is a big ask.
No,
I understand.
That was the question I asked.
Yeah, this
what
is a
are
big ask.
Possibilities. What has to happen?
But if you can get them in the 3rd and long way more often than not, you're going to stop them.
Well, that's because this team is built on the run game, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, Walker now, he's coming to his own. I think he's over 600-something yards this season. So he's doing fairly well. And their offense by Clint Kubiak is built on the run game.
First in rush attempts, but 29th in yards per rush. But they're 29th in pass attempts and first in yards per attempt. Yeah. So I mean, like if you were the Seattle, we may see a totally different game plan because I know Clint Kubiak comes from Kyle Shanahan and that entire system, and they changed their game plan based on the opponent. And if I was changing my game plan for the Tennessee Titans, if I was Clint Kubiak, I'm throwing the ball all over the yard.
Well, I'm probably, running my offense. I think it's built on their run game, so I think they're going to – that way then you have play-action pass. So I still think they're going to try – they're going to run the football.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but,
I'm not saying not to run the football.
Yeah, but I think they're going to try to stay balanced. They're a 50-50 team, and that's when they're at their best. And the quick passing game. I wrote down some notes here. I said they're a rhythm offense that gets the playmakers involved early and often.
Yep.
See that? Where do the Titans do that? They never do that.
In practice.
They never do that. That's how you run an offense.
Involved early and often.
I was getting excited when I watched their offense.
Well,
it's physicality, it's running game and passing game, quick passing game, deep threat, and you have an elite receiver, everything else around him. By the way, Cooper Kupp, when you're an old vet like him, when you're a superstar, used to be a superstar guy, you always got some nuggets there every game that you can show flashes of the old you at that level.
For sure. You're still winning with technique. You're still winning because you understand defenses at a granular level. Like, he's going to find some ways to exploit things. And Blaine, listen, I can't believe that I'm the one that sounds like I'm defending the Titans coaching staff on stuff.
I got you. I got you.
But he wants Mike McCoy hired.
No, I'm all set on that. Mike's a very nice man, but my God, those press conferences are just such a waste of time at this point. Getting the playmakers involved in Seattle is different because Seattle has more than one option that they can go to, right? Who is the best playmaker on this Titans offense right now? And is it Chimere Dike?
That's who I was thinking.
And if it's the fourth-round rookie, how easy is that for Mike McDonald and his defense to just kind of cue on and be like, okay, that guy's not going to beat us with somebody else? You have to be willing to adapt your offensive system to some extent, or at least have some variance.
Which they haven't shown.
And so, again, that's on them. They can find ways to make Gunnar Helm and Chigakonkwo more a part of what they're doing. They haven't shown a willingness to do that. So right now, I'm just looking around and be like, I mean, is Chimere Dike going to go out there? Is running the offense through Chimere Dike in the specific way that they want to run their offense going to get the job done? I have a really hard time seeing that. And that's not a justification. That's just what they're showing us that they do on a week-in, week-out basis.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I would probably go Chig if I were to really guess who the real playmaker currently on this team is, but I would also throw in Tyjae Spears as a name. I know he didn't get it done last week, but I do think that more often than not, when Tyjae Spears has the ball in his hands, something good can come of it.
Why can't we have Tyjae Spears in the game with Pollard? And then move him out
a little bit last week.
Motion him, move him around, and get him in matchups that you know he's going to win. We know this because he's a hard matchup on anybody, especially using kind of like a slot receiver when you're motioning him, let alone split Chig out. Let him go against the safety or linebackers in, two tight end sets. That's how you come up with matchups that you are favored in and you more likely to win than not. And to me, they don't do any of that at any point in time, whether
I agree.
you have those kind of players or not. You're still using your matchups.
Well, we were talking about 12 personnel earlier. When we come back, let's talk about 12 personnel again. Let's talk about these playmakers that they may or may not have in this Tennessee Titans offense. Let's talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of stuff to really get to and talk about. This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff right here on 105 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by SA Recycling. SA Recycling reminds you to be a good fan this game day and look for recycle bins in and around Nissan Stadium. The gates are open up. Fans are going into the game. We got 1 hour left here on the show until Titans radio coverage takes you up to kickoff for your all-day, wall-to-wall Titans radio coverage. All right. So we were talking about playmakers. We were talking about, who does this team need to get involved. And I will say this. If they were to use 12 personnel, this may be a good defense, the Seattle Seahawks defense, to use that against. When facing 12 personnel, Seattle has allowed a 64.2% completion rate, 6.2 yards per pass attempt, and 3.1 yards per rush attempt. So and we know that the Tennessee Titans, they don't use it a lot, but when they pass out of 12 personnel, they're actually super efficient at it, way more than they are running out of 12 personnel and passing out of 11 personnel. So if they can use these one running backs, two tight end sets, maybe there's a path for victory. But again, maybe's a big word. Like I last week, 7.5, I was all in. 5.5, I would have been all in for their game against the Texans for the Titans cover the spread. It's right now 12.5, and I'm just not feeling it.
No, you said Titans money line.
Well, I said both.
No.
I did say both.
You don't get off the hook by saying
I was pretty close.
I was
though.
right. They covered.
I was pretty close.
They covered, but they lost. No, you screamed Titans money line for anybody to hear.
Hey, when they tied it up
crazy
at the
person.
End, when they tied it up at the end, you should have seen me in the studio with Stoney and Jackson. I was like, yes, it's happening.
At some point, I looked down the press box at Blaine and said, "Where's Zach?" So listen, I would not pick them to cover today. I fully expect that they would lose by 2 touchdowns. I think that the deficiency is such that they are just going to get ground down at a certain point in time with the stop, because one team, the things that you're citing are accurate, and that may be a way to win within the margins, but this coaching staff has displayed no ability to win within the margins to this point in the season. So I'm not going to give them that benefit of the doubt. What I am going to say is that the defense has helped keep them in games, and that Cam and the offense had one of the more impressive drives of the season last week. 95 yards, backed up against their own end zone. Some penalties that did help them on Houston's side, some penalties that did hurt them on the Titans side. So at some point, these are professional athletes that you would expect to go out and be able to take advantage of some matchup opportunities. Will Mike McCoy and the offensive coaching staff be able to put them in those positions? I think they showed some ability to do that last week. The players weren't able to execute. It's just kind of the state of things right now. So there are some things there that theoretically they should be able to take advantage of, but I can't imagine that this is a one-score game.
Well, anything's possible in an NFL game.
Oh, sure.
I'm not going to ever, you just never know. You would
so
think.
Blaine says bet that plus 12.5.
It'll be close, but, the Seahawks, they have a lot to play for. They're still fighting. I think they're in 5th place in the NFC. So they got a lot to lose if they lose a game like this.
Because they're 7-3 in 5th place.
Yeah.
Well, and they're coming off a loss. They had
Rams.
They had the best loss, I would argue, of the season so far. Your quarterback throws 4 interceptions. You're still in it
in the game
at the end in a divisional game.
And the kicker could have won it for him.
Yeah.
He missed. So there's a lot to play, but they want to show they can rebound, show that they are a really, really good team. So maybe the Titans are catching them at the wrong time after getting defeated. And, we want to see how, Sam Darnold can rebound from a 4-interception game. And some of those were unforced, in my opinion. I mean, he was jump throwing and doing some things that he shouldn't be doing. He was trying to make something out of nothing. So sometimes you got to wilt and just say, take the loss. So we'll see how he performs today against the Titans, because I think the Rams, is that who he played bad against last year too? Was it the playoffs?
Seattle. He had
where was he at last year?
Minnesota.
No, but the playoff game.
It Rams against the Rams.
He got by that pass rush.
It was them.
Sure.
Yeah, it was the same team. So I think it's something in his head about that team that he really wanted. That's sometimes as an athlete you just want to win so bad. You end up not playing very well. So maybe some parts of that, but we'll see how he rebounds, and if he gets back on his side, and maybe that's good or maybe it's bad. We got to keep him going down that road.
Well, you would hope that maybe the Seattle team having to travel all the way across country, maybe they don't get some good rest, good sleep, body change, all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that defense travels, as you always say, Blaine.
Yep.
And they're 4-1. This Seattle Seahawks team is 4-1 on the road. They've already been down to Jacksonville and beat Jacksonville. That Seattle defense is allowing 16.8 points per game. The Tennessee Titans are only scoring, 14.8 points per game?
Are they up? Are they up above 2 touchdowns?
I don't even know if they're up that as well.
No.
Maybe they're 13 points per
No,
game.
surely not.
But we know they don't score 16.8.
Yeah.
And they're scoring on the road. Their offense travels really well, too. They're scoring on the road 26.2 points per game. So that is almost a 10-point differential on the road. I mean, that's kind of insane when you think about it, that this defense is traveling so well. Credit to Mike McDonald and Leslie Frazier and their mind meld of bringing in Leslie Frazier's defense and all the things that Mike McDonald does and brings to the
pass
table.
rushing schemes, yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal. And just think maybe if the Tennessee Titans had maybe gone to Mike McDonald instead of Brian Callahan because they were both hired at the same time.
Well, sure.
But you also got to give credit to Clint Kubiak, who they brought over. They fired Ryan Grubbs. They brought over Clint Kubiak. And on the road, this team has scored 26.2 points per game. On the road.
Yeah.
16.8 points per game allowed. And Tennessee Titans are on the wrong side. And this is just another example of a strength of schedule that the football gods have bestowed upon the worst team in the NFL after being the worst team in the NFL last year. That's just cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to take into consideration, and I don't, especially because Cam is a rookie and learning on the fly, it does matter, the degree of difficulty that he's up against. But it's not, I mean, it's not going to get any easier. Go out there and perform as an NFL athlete is expected to perform. I don't discount the degree of difficulty, but I'm not going to give it more weight than I think it actually deserves. Now, speaking of the Tennessee Titans scoring offense, Zach, it's the rare point where I didn't give them enough credit. 14.3 points per game. Over 2 touchdowns per game. Who are they? They're still the worst offense in football.
No doubt.
But
That's not even close.
It's just, Vegas is scoring 15.5. They're tied for 30th. New Orleans and Vegas right now.
I think the team total for the Tennessee Titans is to score the over-under for team total is 13.5.
Yeah.
In this game. They just think that Tennessee Titans may or may not score 13. And that's do
you guys believe that?
I don't know what to believe.
No, I don't.
Because I don't know what this team is anymore.
No,
I know what this team is.
We know.
We know what this team is.
What do you mean you don't know what this team is?
You know what I mean? What I mean is like anything can happen in the NFL, right?
No, not here.
Not here?
No.
Just trying to be a little positive.
Okay, that's fine, but let's be realistic.
Well, until they score over 14.2, we believe it. Until they get a win and close out a game,
but
do
even
we believe
then,
it?
Blaine, they have to play a 4-quarter consistent performance. They have to set themselves up to compete in one-score games in the fourth. That's the thing that makes me insane.
I need to see multiple touchdowns thrown by Cam Ward, which we have not seen
or
yet
just
all year.
Scored. I need the offense to consistently be able to capitalize. It can be Cam Ward, it can be Tony Pollard, just to consistently score and not, back themselves out of scoring range with penalties or sacks or these things that they struggle with so mightily. So no, Blaine, it would take a string of performances to where they show me that they have built upon something and consistently are improving in a department. I honestly think the biggest indictment of them is that they fired Brian Callahan, citing a lack of growth as an offense, showed a couple of moments where, and maybe a few incremental places where they have improved, but I can't in good conscience say that this is an offense that has shown growth since the firing of the coach that was fired for not showing sufficient growth.
Well, have you seen growth out of the quarterback?
I mean, I thought he did a nice job mitigating the pass rush last week. And I would like to see him do that again against a defense that is comparable. Houston is better as far as scoring and total defense. Seattle is right up there at the top as well. So if I can see him do it on a week-in, week-out basis, but then he has the strip sack, Blaine, where I know the pressure got to him, and Houston gets credit for forcing that fumble, but the turnovers with him, he's got 12 total giveaways on the year. He's lost 6 fumbles. He's got 6 interceptions. It's just at these critical moments.
Yeah.
And again, their margin for error is so thin to where that's going to tip the tide.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one thing I can't have him doing if I'm a Titans fan, because they are in a one-score game, then he gets strip sacked.
Well, you talk about the difference in teams and where they're at, but you talk about the Seattle Seahawks, right? 4 interceptions, they lose a game by 2 points.
Well, miss a field goal to win it.
Miss a field goal to win it.
Yeah.
Cam Ward can fumble once, and this team will
Game is
never
over.
recover.
Yeah.
That's one fumble versus 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
That tells you about the growth of the team, the maturities of these two teams, and the difference in these two teams, which we all know. We were talking about a 7-3 team with the 6th best defense in points, the 9th best defense in yards, the 3rd best defense in EPA per play, the 6th best defense in success rate, going up against one of the worst offenses. On top of that, their offense itself, the Seattle Seahawks offense, is also top 15 in almost every category you can imagine. That matters. Scoring, yards, EPA, success rate. So they are a well-balanced, well-oiled machine, and it gets to the point, it's just like, to your point, we're not seeing enough growth, but we are seeing growth. How much growth can we continue to see throughout the whole week or throughout this whole rest of the year? And that's going to be the question every week. Like, on top of, like, keys to the game or things to watch or what are we looking forward to, it's always going to start and end with Cam Ward.
But I think the defense has done that. I think bless Denard Wilson for doing his job, given the fact that they've stripped his defense down to the studs.
Yeah,
I mean,
I will say that.
And I don't mean studs in a good way. Like, they got a stud in Jeff Simmons, but beyond that, like, I mean, the three of us are out there playing corner at this point in time. Blaine actually, hasn't been an NFL player.
No, I'm not out there on that island.
You know what I mean? It's just it's a tough situation for them right now, and I think Denard Wilson has shown that he has been able to improve. In fact, I would give whoever the next head coach is, I would give heavy consideration, to keeping Denard Wilson on staff if you were capable. The offensive coaching staff, Zach, I know we never got to the numbers that you have in terms of the level of conservatism that they are showing as an offense. I don't know if I wouldn't argue that that's a hindrance to the young quarterback, even though there are things about Cam Ward that are also that he has to refine, right? That Blaine, he's only going to be able to clean up a lot of this mechanical stuff in a full offseason of work.
He's not going to be able to do
a normalized offseason of work where he's not having to worry about training for the draft and preparing for, I know he didn't participate in the combine, but like all of these things, interviewing with various NFL teams, all the different, for lack of a better term, distractions that come with a rookie offseason, right? With a fully normalized offseason, with a full dedication to the craft of quarterbacking, that is where Cam Ward will clean up some of the stuff that is plaguing him right now that's difficult to correct in the midst of a season when you're going through it. But as far as, like, setting him up for success beyond some of the places where he will help you or hurt you, I think that they have to find more ways to put him in a position to win a game, and I think that speaks to the things that you were going to cite earlier about Mike McCoy's unwillingness to go for it on 4th and short situations.
Well, let me ask you this. This would be a good topic for cover two as well. I should have done this last week, but you have a young quarterback who constantly is in the media saying, hey, listen, I'd go for it on every 4th down. Now, obviously, you shouldn't go for it on every 4th down, but that kind of attitude, that kind of desire and hunger, you're kind of not feeding into that and leaning into that by calling kind of a cowardly game plan when in crunch time, because we've seen it even with Brian Callahan. This isn't just Mike McCoy. We've seen it with Brian Callahan, the refusal to go for it on certain go for it situations where the data would tell you.
How many situations has it been? I only can think of 4 like right now.
I can think of probably 6 or 7, but I mean, I mean, there's been plenty of opportunity for them to show not a conservative approach, and they haven't done that. I mean, two Bucks theory that, you're kind of doing them a disservice by not being a little bit more aggressive. Do you think that leaning into, especially if you're an interim head coach, most interim head coaches tend to be a little bit more aggressive and less conservative.
Well,
where do you stand on that?
Well, I only think they should have gone for it against the Colts.
Yeah.
The rest of the times I had no problem with it. It was a coin toss for me,
whether
he should or shouldn't. And it kind of played out that him not going for it, I think, was the right decision here, at least the last couple games here, is because there were low-scoring games. So points are of value. So with your young team, are we equipped? If we miss on this 4th down, will the team cave, and they have shown that they would. If they didn't get first downs, if they don't miss a field goal, they can't come up with plays, and it kind of derails the rest of the game. So I think you got to look at the total body of work of what's going on in the game. Each individual game is different, and I was a coin toss. Now, there was one last week I was like, oh, I may have gone for that. That's why I would have got fired. I might have gone for it
or
right there. Or
you could have been a hero.
Right, and so that was the one time it was a coin toss for me. So there's pros and cons to it. I don't know about a fourth down play determining if you're developing. To me, the development is being a master of the mundane, basic fundamentals of what you're being asked for. And I just don't see that. I think it goes up and down like a roller coaster ride from Cam Ward. And that's the part that I have issues with, because guess what? We're now, how many games in? 11? We have seen Cam Ward this year. That's who he is.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Oh, for sure.
That's not going to change. So there's going to be games where we're going to see him, oh, man, he made that great throw. Now, can he make that throw again and again and again? The basic fundamental throws that you have to make in the NFL. I just don't know if I'm going to get that. And then that kind of leads to the development of the receivers then, because now you're inaccurate at times. Sometimes you don't know if they're on the same page, whether it's the receiver's fault or is his throw. Nope. See, so all those things kind of combine. As a coach, you start sitting there when you're trying to make a decision saying, I don't even know if I have belief. He can't say this, that we can actually execute the play correctly. Like consistently, over and over. They're probably not even doing it at practice.
I love that you brought this up, because 2 points on your idea of the individual fourth down situations. Blaine, I think that the primary criticism is that on every opportunity, he has opted not to. Whether he should have or it's a coin toss, Mike McCoy has opted not to. So the only one, and he would agree with you, and did earlier this week in the press conference where he was asked, you said in Indianapolis you regretted not going for it on that fourth down situation, and he was very accountable about that after the fact. That's on me. That made me sick to my stomach, on and on. I should have gone for it in that moment. This week it was no. I don't regret the decisions that we made. We were in a one-score game. That's what I thought was going to set us up for the best position to succeed. The other part about Cam. So the 38-yarder gets everybody excited, and he's good for one or two of those a game so far this year, right, where he makes a big play, and you're like, wow, that's why he's worthy of the number 1 overall pick, because he can make a play like that in the game. Mm-hmm. But the difference between what I think fans get excited about, clutch, if you want to call it that, versus consistency, which is the things that athletes and coaches will cite far more often than the idea of clutch, right? The consistency is what sets you up for the opportunity to be clutch. It is far more, it's far less sexy to talk about. It's mastering the mundane, but people don't get excited about the mundane. They get excited about the 38-yard bomb that you're getting drilled in the chest, and it sets you up for, to capitalize on your 95-yard scoring drive. But Cam Ward is not a consistent player. And I think people are justifying the one or two big plays that he makes as being like, well, you're too hard on him, or you guys are too critical on him, or you're not giving this guy a fair chance. He has to give himself those opportunities by becoming a master of the mundane, as you said. And that's where I think the biggest disparity in the Cam Ward dialogue lies. People get caught up in a big plays when they really should be more concerned with the fact that he's missing some of these layup throws.
80% of quarterback play is boring.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the few things that I can actually agree on with Brian Callahan through his time here, is he talked about mastering the mundane. 80% of quarterback play is boring. He talked about that a lot, and I agree, and I think most around the NFL have echoed that sentiment. That's why they lean into some of these. The cycle right now is passing out of 12 personnel, running out of 11 personnel. And passing out 12 personnel probably seems a little boring. When you got two tight ends, where's your explosives coming from? Yeah. But that helps get you into situations like Buck just said. You can be clutch as long as you have the consistency to build up to that moment. And that's what this Tennessee Titans team has lacked, even though they, weirdly enough, have actually been able to pass very well on first down. They're averaging like 6 yards per pass attempt on first down. So it's weird. This team is just weird.
Yeah. Well, what I can say, what you just said, though, made me what's harder to teach, though? Clutch or mastering the mundane? You can teach mastering mundane. You can't make a guy clutch.
Sure.
See,
it may take you
once
longer
he
to teach
it out.
the consistency.
Yeah. Once he figures that out, then this guy's something. That's why I said he is who he is this year.
Yeah,
That's not going to change.
sure.
And then we're going to see what the new coaching staff really can do and affect his thought process.
And emphasize, because they may emphasize a totally different
and
set
with better
of
weapons.
things.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think that it's the difference, though, in what people want and what people hope for versus what's in front of us today.
Yeah, no
Our
doubt.
job is to evaluate what's in front of us today,
Yeah.
right? And what's in front of us today is an inconsistent player that makes wow plays from time to time, like the scramble drill against the Rams, where it's outside of structure. He's running around, for 20 or 30 yards before he finally lets that one go off his back foot and is able to find Ellick in the back of the end zone. Like, those are the kind of things that'll help set you over the top once, to your point, Blaine, he gets to that level where he's, baseline average as far as all the other things that he has to do to be able to play the quarterback position at a high level. There's no question that he has talent, but talent is not skill. He needs to develop more skill so that the talent can be the thing that puts them over the top and does help them separate from their competition in a way that their competition is currently separating from them.
Preach, Buck.
I mean, I think you guys are on it. I think that's what makes the Cam Ward discourse for, I think, to have a proper conversation about it. It's just so frustrating because fans just see, well, it's not Cam Ward's fault that he's inconsistent. Well, it technically is because there are a lot of plays he leaves on the field, but that doesn't mean that he's a bust.
Right.
That just means, hey, he's got a lot to learn.
Well,
we knew when he was drafted,
he's got to go through the growth of being a
that.
rookie quarterback.
I mean, to your point, and we've talked about this all the time, if you would have had a better veteran backup quarterback, maybe Cam Ward sits and learns
like 3 or 4 games.
And maybe we have a different quarterback situation on our hands. Or maybe he's able to learn something in the offseason that he's not able to learn. Maybe it's the coaching staff can help change that. But at the end of the day, Cam Ward, he's not a bust, but he's not elite, and that's okay. He is a rookie quarterback who's on a roller coaster ride every day, and he faces a different, more complex defense almost every week that presents new challenges that maybe the last team didn't. This is all a learning experience for a young quarterback who has shown that throughout all this whole season has maintained such poise that you would think that he was an 11-year veteran.
Yeah. And I think the big question is going into next year with a new coaching staff, how are we going to evaluate Cam then? Are we going to give him a pass because it's his second year in the league? Or are we going to give him a pass because, this is his first time in this offense? See?
I'm not interested in doing passes.
Yeah.
I'm not.
See?
There'll be growing
I don't care
pains,
who
but
they
there's
are.
not going to be, I don't think there's going to be, you got to look at it that this is how at least they view it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily how we view it, but how they view it. They said at a press conference, now they can always change their mind, that by year 3 you know what a rookie is, what you got in a rookie. But you have to see better from Cam Ward next year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No excuses. Does it have to be 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions? No. But does it have to be better than what we have seen this year, where you actually have
unequivocally
300-yard games, multiple touchdowns in a game here and there sporadically? Yes. Can he do it? Yeah, because we've seen Caleb Williams do it. Now you're probably not getting Ben Johnson, but you've seen a lot of first-year quarterbacks struggle in certain situations. Some of them have had worse seasons than Cam Ward, but better seasons, but not the best seasons. And they've gotten better in year 2. You have to expect better. You can't. Fans should not go ahead into this season, and they will, but they shouldn't go into this season. Well, it's a new offensive scheme, so we can't judge Cam Ward. That's coddling and protecting someone, and that's what got you all in trouble with Marcus. Y'all kept making excuses for Marcus without realizing, hey, injuries happen. Maybe he just didn't have it. It happens. It happens in the NFL all the time. Sometimes you find out your first-round quarterback just doesn't have it.
Well, he started off so well, Marcus. I mean, in that first game.
Yeah, it's hard not to, right? And you can buy yourself some benefit of the doubt, right? And then the injuries break you down, and you're not the player that you were at the start of your career that you end up being at the end of your career.
Right.
Those things can be every player has a different trajectory, but like I'm not interested in giving anybody we could not lower the bar more for them.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
We lowered the bar for them coming into this season, and they're worse.
The bar is on the ground. Okay, so we can't.
It's the opposite of the Michael Jordan thing, right? The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, we're not digging a hole and putting the bar lower.
Enough of
the bar is on the ground
so
for this team.
You are professional football players and a professional football coaching staff and allegedly a professional football organization. You play in one of the least pressurized markets of any of these players. It's not Chicago for Caleb Williams. It's not New York for Jackson Dart. You don't have it's not. I heard you talking, Blaine, this week about Philadelphia and A.J. Brown.
Oh, my.
They're 7-3 or 7-2 or whatever they are. He has a 3-catch for 40-yard game. Philly media is asking him, what's wrong with you?
You lost a step?
What's your deal? What's your deal, brother? Okay, so like this is as low pressure an environment as could possibly exist. Stop making excuses for them.
Yes, I agree. Fully agree. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap up our talk and our preview of the Seattle Seahawks versus Tennessee Titans. This is the Lee Company countdown to kickoff right here on 104.5 The Zone. All right, it's the Lee Company countdown to kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Available 24/7. Put Lee Company on your team to tackle your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical problems. Schedule online at leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. And the inactives list are out. No surprises for the Tennessee Titans.
What?
As wide receiver Eligiah Manor, safety Xavier Woods, and safety Kendall Brooks, all inactive. But also they've added offensive lineman Drew Moss, offensive lineman Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, and defensive lineman C.J. Ravenel. 3 other typical inactives they've had over the whole weeks. But there are some surprises for the Seattle Seahawks.
Inactives.
For their inactive list.
Whoa.
And it's actually 2 big names on this list at least. But one sad name, we were talking about him earlier, Jalen Milroe is inactive today. So no Jalen Milroe packages to see him run. Good for Titans fans.
That is.
But bad for his parents who were obviously
right out here, man. Good people.
Yeah. Ernest Jones, linebacker, inactive.
Former Titan legend, as Buck would say.
He was just up on the press conference saying F you and F you guys for talking bad about Sam Darnold, and he is not playing today.
That's a shame.
Tyrese Knight.
He was injured?
I guess so. Tyrese Knight, who's one of their starting inside linebackers. So they are not going to have their 2 best inside linebackers for this game. That is pretty big. Especially if you want to go 12 personnel.
I was just going to say, please, God, if there's going to be a day where you use these damn tight ends.
But they're not going to go 12 personnel.
Let it be today. No, they're not, of course.
By the way, who are the backup linebackers? Maybe they're saying, we can get by with these guys, and you guys heal up.
Yeah, Seattle's depth is probably not terrible.
That's probably true.
Let's take a look at the depth chart real quick.
Here.
Okay, so we're looking at Drake Thomas and Chaz Surratt will be the guys that are likely to start.
I'm not familiar with their body of work.
Me either.
I know Chaz Surratt. I know his name. I recognize his name.
That name sounds familiar because that's.
But I do not know anything about Drake Thomas.
Is he related to Indiana Hoosiers wide receiver Elijah Surratt? That would be the only.
That'd be the only thing.
That would be the only way that I would
Maybe he
recognize
just
him.
switched positions from receiver to linebacker.
Yeah. Be like, sure, I got this. Put me in the middle of the defense.
So,
hey, man, I've been practicing hard, man.
I'm just saying, that is pretty big, no Ernest Jones.
That is big. Oh, I'm sure he wanted to play here too, man.
Yeah, he's a huge part of what they do on defense. Mm-hmm. He's obviously a very effective communicator. I know some Titans fans have talked about the idea, well, wouldn't this team have been better with Ernest Jones or something like that? You got a 4th-round pick out of it. You need draft capital. If you look at your 4th-round picks this year, I'm sure people would not want Ernest Jones back for the sake of...
and look at Cedric Gray.
Yeah. Cedric Gray has obviously taken a meaningful step this year, and Cody Barton, I think, on a better defense, will be a better player right now. Maybe
this will help us with the running game.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll miss some assignments. Maybe we show them something we haven't seen before.
I may be tempted to go Titans 12.5 now.
I just heard 4 maybes in the middle of that analysis.
Just saying.
Maybe they do, the 2 tight end set as you've been asking.
Yeah, maybe.
Matching up against these unfamiliar linebackers.
Yes. I don't know. Yes. The willingness to, or the lack of willingness to adapt on offense has to be so frustrating if you're a Titans fan.
Oh, man. I met with Les Frazier. He did not tell me they were not dressing the 2 starting linebackers. Come on, bro. What is going on?
Well, we will see how that impacts. And that, to your point, Blaine, any kind of missed assignment that you could take advantage of against the Seattle
chemistry
defense.
is key.
Because that's where those explosive runs come from. It's not necessarily having blocked things up perfectly or a running back being so good. It's that somebody misses an assignment on defense, they're in the wrong gap, they miss a tackle, all of a sudden the running back's going for 25, 30 yards, and that is not something the Titans running backs have done this year. So if they can make that happen, if they can have some explosive plays to combat what Seattle can do, because God knows Seattle's an explosive offense, certainly via the pass, that would give them an opportunity to be in this game today.
You get him in man-to-man, in motion, Spears out of the backfield.
Well, slow down. Motion. We know this team doesn't like to use motion.
Hey, I can be wishful.
Don't get carried away over there, huh?
Wishful thinking, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, this is, Chaz Surratt is his brother is Sage Surratt. Isn't that who you just asked about?
No, Elijah.
Yeah. Where did he go?
But he was Minnesota Vikings in the 3rd round in 2021, went to UNC, North Carolina.
Oh, so he was ahead of Cedric Gray.
So, yeah.
Gray played behind him.
Yeah, would have played behind him.
I think I remember him.
Teammates.
I remember
The
him.
other guy, Drake Thomas, is an undrafted free agent linebacker that
So he's just like
is
Cody
from
Barton.
North Carolina State. So, you know.
North Carolina. Oh, but man, 2 North Carolina guys.
And listen,
Universities.
But he's an undrafted free agent. He has 3 years of NFL experience, both with Las Vegas and Seattle. But none of these guys are full-time starters.
Right.
So this is I know this Tennessee Titans team probably planned all week for Ernest Jones to be out there, but this is a great opportunity for the Tennessee Titans to attack the middle of the field, which there has been some success for the Tennessee Titans.
But isn't this the same thing that happened with Cody Barton last year with the Broncos? He was a special teamer backup, and then he got to start the majority of the season and play well.
Yeah, that's true, but he has been in the league longer than both these guys.
Yeah, Barton's had a couple of stops, and he had played, here and there in Washington.
He had some experience there.
There was at least a body of work.
He was basically a starter, but on the bench.
Yeah.
And I will say, in the intermediate part of the field, the Seattle Seahawks defense probably allows roughly around 7.9 yards allowed in the middle of the field.
No.
So that's 7.9 yards per attempt is pretty good. And now you have these 2 linebackers in there. Should be better. I mean, again, Tennessee Titans are a weird team.
Are we going to attack the middle of the field?
They should.
They don't, though.
No, they really don't.
They did
Camden-
all that in training camp with the middle of the field stuff, and then it never happened in the regular season.
Well, he started getting picked off, and I don't know if the coaching staff got scared about it or what.
77 of his
he's ultimately
attempts
the
are
player.
in that
He's the one throwing the ball.
Yeah, no, but and Nate Washington pointed this out at some point in the last couple of weeks when he's been on my show. The idea that at least they set Cam up, or Cam has a tendency to throw so much more outside the numbers as opposed to working the middle of the field, which seemed to me to be harder.
Yeah.
By degree of difficulty.
Let's say this, at least in the short middle of the field, he has thrown 76 passes, which is the most that he has thrown.
Watch this.
out of
I'm about
all
to
of
just throw that stat out.
Okay.
Here's why. They're behind so much, they're doing the 2-minute
that's
drill,
true.
and they're just dumping it to the running
Yeah.
back. Boom, boom,
Hey,
boom,
listen,
boom,
the
boom,
short
boom,
part
boom,
of the
boom,
field is where they're
Yeah,
at. But if we're talking about attacking the middle,
Excuse the stat. There's
Yeah.
definitely something to that stat.
but attacking the middle, it seems to be where they, at least between the numbers, is where they've attacked the most.
Oh.
So short, middle, whatever, that's where they've attacked the most. It just maybe doesn't feel that way because, again,
The context.
short area of the field,
Yeah.
right? Like you're just talking about right in front of the quarterback. Probably doesn't feel that way a lot, but that's apparently, according to at least PFF's tracking data, that's where they attack the most between the numbers, which is where Seattle's vulnerable. But you got to get the tight ends involved. You got to get the tight ends involved.
Do you have any belief that they're going to attack this area?
I would say some. I mean, not the way that we would probably go about attacking.
I mean, they're
it if
not
we were
idiots
game planning.
playing. I have to think that
Yeah.
they have to be able to. They have access to all this information too. I'm so confused by it.
watch this.
I am still not convinced.
I'm not the person that believes and make assumptions.
No, I'm not assuming
Because
anything.
what
no.
tells me is what I'm seeing.
No, I know. I hear you.
You see?
Like I said, I'm not giving them benefit of the doubt, but I have to believe that they have access to all this information. So if they are choosing not to go about this, then
Right.
it's
Well,
a
sometimes
very
it's because of
perplexing.
personnel.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about but to you guys' point, I mean, they should be at least more than what we're seeing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just such a heavily skewed percentage,
Yeah.
the way that they operate, that they seem to be
who's
stuck in their ways. I don't know.
I just smelled some good food, man. It just distracted me.
Wafting.
Yeah, I felt like my dog Ziggy. Yeah, he's running to the kitchen like, "Hey, I know food is coming." Whoa,
Blaine is a worthy follow
man.
on TikTok for many reasons.
Oh,
but the
yeah.
Ziggy videos, the Ziggy videos are worth it. The Ziggy videos are good.
4 videos.
That's fine. I saw one of the 4, Blaine. It made me laugh.
Oh man, the one with my wife when he got in the trash.
That's right.
I mean, to your point, they should have access to this data, right?
They should.
But again, it goes to the point of the human error element
yes, that's why I
involved.
said
Is
the
like,
players.
is the people in charge of the data first off finding this information, and are they finding the right piece of information? And then secondly, if they are doing that, is this coaching staff paying attention? And you would have to say, based on at least the conservatism.
Well, let's not forget the last part.
Yeah.
The players executing
The
it.
players execute, but based on at least the conservatism of how they've approached the week, because he said this is where I like to your point, 50-50 coin tosses this year, and I would agree with you. I would be more aggressive, but I would also probably then get fired. But to the point,
like I said, I would.
But to the point of the feel for the game, he said they predetermined this all throughout the week. Are you using data, or are you just using gut, coach? Because he was also conservative and crushed for his conservative approach when he was head coach of the Chargers.
All right, I'm going to give you guys an example of what happens in a game. All right, then you're backed up on your own 30.
Yeah.
4, let's say. 34. It's 4th and 2. Analytics says, and it's second quarter, you should go for it and you will make it. Now, in game, what would you do? No, Buck, go first. What would you do? And I'm going to tell you what happened in this game, and I was like, oh, my gosh.
Are you trailing?
Yes, but the game is still in hand. Yeah.
I think in that situation, backed up on your own 34, 4th and 2, I would be inclined to punt.
Right, I would too. I would too.
What about you? Inclined to punt.
Analytics says go for it.
Yeah, I would probably still go. I would go for the punt, and here's why: because
they went for it and made it.
Yeah, but I bet also the win percentage probably isn't that great of a change
right.
In the second quarter.
It was, and I couldn't believe it.
Now fourth quarter,
they went for it and made it.
Yeah,
and I forgot the game I was watching. It was just 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's by percentage chance, right?
Yes.
And those numbers
I would have
not
never
blanket
dreamed
to every
of
team, right? The Seahawks, for example, would have a much better percentage.
Right, it was a good
it.
team. It was the bye week, so it was. I forget who I was.
So
watching.
I think if you're asking me as somebody who watches the Titans on a regular basis, that 4th and 2 is not going to be as easy.
And sometimes these analytics tell you to go for it, but then what it fails to leave out is that it may only increase your win probability by like 2%. Right. Well, sometimes that's not a big enough risk for me to take a swing. 4 or 5%, I'm probably taking the swing. If that's what the analytics told me, 4 to 5% increase in win percentage, I'd take that swing.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 1%? No, I'm not taking that swing.
Well, and I also looked at, how I would have made that decision. I would have punted too, just like you guys. But I was thinking, man, that was a veteran team. He knew that, hey, man, we can't give this other team another possession before the half, or it could go in a different direction. We must show them that we can move the football. And we just needed one more down. They just kept missing little stuff here and there. They were moving the ball. They just couldn't finish the drive. So he had confidence knowing his team. He knew his team. This team, as we've talked about, it's unknown. They don't have an identity. They're not sure who's going to be the guy that's the clutch guy you're going to, like Nico Collins in a tough situation. They don't have that guy. I mean, so all that tells you a coach, when you're talking about vibe and feel, I can't go for it.
Yeah.
See, that's why that happens. That's why it's happened. It's the human element of it. You're at practice. You see what we have. And, man, if I don't get this, not only are you going to get scrutinized, but you're going to lose the team to a certain extent. We're not going to win this game. We're going to lose the game, not the team, but we're going to lose this game. And I think that's what kind of goes through McCoy's head. And he's kind of an old school guy, so he's more on the conservative side.
He's for sure from a different generation of coaching.
Yeah, he's more conservative. So I think that's what he's referencing when he's talking about feel, vibe. Before game, we have it pre-planned, and then let the game play out, and then we'll make another determination and see what we should do.
And to be fair, it's probably really easy to predetermine because you probably know how this game's going to go.
But most likely.
To be honest, I mean, I think we all know.
Which he's not saying that part, that's what he's saying.
Offensively, right? Because defense, we don't really – we kind of know, but we don't know what this defense can do against various teams and all that kind of stuff. We know they've played well, but on offense, you kind of know what you're going to get.
Okay, in this game here, we know who's available.
Yeah. 4th
and 2 when you're on the other's team 42, second quarter. 4th and 2. You going forward, you're on the 42. And then think about what are you running and who are you going to? See?
I don't know about what I would run, but I think I would be more tempted to go for it because I do think that there's opportunities to
just
exploit.
Like the Colts game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think I personally would go for it. But I also, just like the Colts game, sometimes I understand why they don't do it.
Okay, so
I don't get up big in arms about it.
Right. I would go for it. Now, I'm not running the football. I have no faith in our running game if they continue the way they're going. So now, who are you running the play for?
Gunner. Gunner or Chig?
Yeah, I would probably go Gunner or Chig too.
See, and so these are the things because okay, well we all know. I mean, even though Chig is
you may be able to talk me into Van Jefferson, but I'd go Gunner or Chig 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out who do I know when it hits their hands, it's a catch.
Yeah,
by percentage, it's Gunner Helm.
Right.
Out of the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you're looking at just purely catch percentage this year,
like
Gunner Helm's he's not getting near as much
yards
many
after
targets.
Targets.
He's not getting and the yards after catch is also a thing too. But, yeah, I mean, if you are just talking about reliability, Gunner is, by percentage, the most reliable pass catcher that they have.
See, so then you should be running some form of a play that you're going to get it to Gunner Helm.
Yeah, so Gunner Helm has a 73.3% success rate.
Do you think they would do that?
I mean,
no. I guess I don't really know.
Do they even have a play in their playbook to make sure we can get him designed?
It's hard for me to say no because I kind of err with like Buck over here what he said. They are NFL coaches. Shouldn't they know this by now? But then I'm like, but they haven't proven to me that they actually know
so
this.
It's one thing, though, because here's the one thing that I will say about it is that they acknowledge a lot of this stuff during the practice week. But so would Brian Callahan. And then when they would get into the game, they don't do the things that they've acknowledged that they need to change or things like that. So, I mean, it's like we get assistants, position coaches once a month. So we just spend plenty of time talking to Luke Stocker about this. And Luke Stocker will tell us about what their thinking is and what they're trying to accomplish with the two of them and why they may not be out on the field as much as they want to be. And then, whoever supersedes Luke Stocker in terms of the pecking order and gets to make in-games decisions, whether that's Nick Holtz or Bo Hardigree or Mike McCoy on up, changes how they're thinking in real time, and the gut feel may not be what they've been talking about all week long. So then they kind of look a little bit hypocritical versus what they've said the week at practice versus what they're actually doing. Which, by the way, Blaine, I'll allow for. I'll allow for you to change what your thinking is if you think that it's going to put you in a better position to succeed. The problem is, more often than not, it has not put them in a better position to succeed.
Yeah, that's the big issue, and that shows you just have to have growth in young players.
Yeah.
You really have no dependable components on your team, players that you go to that, and it just goes
on the
back
offensive
to
side of the ball for sure. It's tough.
Yeah, and it is really weird that the defense is. I'm interested to see what they do with Jay at the end of the day because I'm stunned how well they played over the last couple of weeks. And
He's taking somebody for a ride, boy.
I just don't see it. I don't know who.
Okay, so here's some more stats to kind of end the show talking about these situations. We've been talking about conservatism and all that kind of stuff. Who do you target? Okay, Alec Iamaner is out. He leads the league in catches or not lead the league. He leads the team in catches that go for a first down with 20 first downs on 28 catches. So so he's caught the ball 28 times and gotten a first down on 20 of them. Chig has 43.8% of his catches for the second best total number.
So he should be the go-to guy.
Should be the go-to guy, but Gunner Helm has 54.2 of his catches go for first downs. And they are number 2 and number 3 in total first downs, just the box score. 14 first downs of Chig, 13 first downs of Gunner Helm. That's where you go. That is where you go.
Well, one of those two
Final
guys anyway.
predictions. We're just going to do this. Do the Titans cover 12 and a half? No.
No.
Blaine?
Yes.
I'm going yes.
No, I think what's it called when they are even 13?
Okay, well that's
so then it's under.
It's under. You messed up.
No, they're not.
Okay, I'm going to say they're going to cover it.
No,
all right, that will
not.
do it for us. This has been the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. We appreciate everybody.
I hate that
around
0.5.
here. We still got some QR codes over
Crap.
here for you guys to win tickets to go see a bunch of cool stuff, like the Foo Fighters, like the Tennessee Titans versus the Chiefs, Tennessee Titans versus Jaguars, and, of course, the Predators versus the Calgary Flames. So make sure you guys come over here, stop off at Gate 3, CCJ. Just scan the QR code and enter yourself into that. All right, for Blaine Bishop, for Buck Rising, I'm Zach Lyons. This has been the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Titans radio coverage is up next. Titans radio coverage is produced by Joseph Bonanno. Studio producer, Justin Hawkins. Studio host, Lucas Panzico. Promotions Director, Rich Ferris. Director of Sales, Hunter Rice. General Manager, Allison Warren. Operations Manager, Paul Mason, and executive producer Rhett Bryan. And, of course, we got Ross Johnson behind the glass over at the studio. Appreciate him and everything that he's done. This has been the Lee Company Countdown Titans, Countdown to Kickoff here on 104.5 The Zone.
Tighten up!